Una, dos, y... Venga.
Many times after you decide that you're recognized in a certain way, you're open to relate to that. But when you say no to something, I don't recognize this, everything becomes really complicated. Doing what I do, like this is the space you build for the third solution, which is in the between. I live in Berlin, and I went there. I arrived in Berlin when I was 24, and before that I was in Italy, and before that, until the age of 18, I was between Kosovo and Albania as a refugee, and then going back to the war, and in my childhood in Kostas, where I was born. But in Italy I realized a very important thing after leaving Kosovo, that I had an everyday life without an enemy. And I grew up in a land where you had an enemy in everyday life. And discovering books and museums and what people did, and then just being busy in Italy with what I wanted to do. There was one thing missing. It was like, I started to be scared that I will not be able to love, that the questions were so complicated, that they were keeping you busy all the time, that finding your own space and being able to love was kind of almost a luxury. You should not go there. And I was like, maybe it's not true, maybe it's like, that's what I was told, that we had this other nation that is against us, or the reality was like and I decided that I don't want an enemy in my life. Whatever is the cost, I don't want that enemy, like whoever it was until that day. The birds, objects, shape that will come to inhabit this landscape come from a Neolithic civilization that was kind of detected and found in the 60s, end of 60s, in like 300 meters from the house where I live. Even the name of the work here is Ru, which is coming from Runik, which is the town where these objects are found. But then the way how they were taken from the citizens, and not even a booklet is remembered that it came back to citizens to say what they found in their own town. Then when I went to my town, I found another reality which was incredibly inspiring to me, because it was from my friends of my childhood that had Neolithic goddesses in their pockets, and they were extremely personally connected to them, and they were kind of able to really, this absence of institution would give to imagination and the possibility to invent a possible reason why this object happened. And you would never know when the truth ends and imagination starts, and the other way around. They become a metaphor of our history, of humans trying to move from a place to another, of people being manipulated, or the others finding a way out, or people being isolated, or the others trying to move away in other countries. And this has to do so much with also what we are going on. And in the same time, I was looking to birds, and I was doing I was observing them in Washington in the Center for Migratory Birds, and they have this amazing ways of studying the movement of the birds through the planet and their migration, and migratory bird stations where they would stop to rest when they travel from one continent to another. And what where they stop normally. It's a place where they feel comfortable. They need to rest, to drink water, to kind of re-talk and agree and replan the next fly. And I was fascinated by this, like comparing the migration between other creatures, like birds, and how we today interpret it and what we invent around the idea of movement of humans for one or another reason. And so what I thought like maybe, I mean, it doesn't fit this idea of like archaeology with biology or object with a bird, but I was like thinking like how actually to merge these two things and how to, in a way, finally free these objects from their history and history connected to humans and give them another life. So they come here as birds and some they talk, some are kind of kissing, and it's kind of a reversed position where while you moving, the whole scenario kind of follows you, and I like that a lot. You know, trying to take out this idea of hierarchy of us understanding and us being on top of things, and instead trying to take a position of a bird or a tree, or just it's much funnier, the vision about the reality for me. When I say mixing this more intimate point of view and personal point of view with a context that is a social context that is much more complex and larger, it's giving a possibility to these two points of view, like to kind of have a conversation and have a chance to change their reality. And I guess we can't ask the reality to change by itself. We have to, like, and this to me gives me a chance to be part of it. I feel very lucky to have this context where they give you a space to almost bring impossibilities together and make them possible.